All right, guys, today I'm going to give you a strategy that works really well. And it may not be what all of you are looking for, but it is a profitable strategy that has a very high profit factor. The caveat to it is that you don't have to hold overnight, but the way it's back tested, it will hold overnight. One workaround for that is that you could just close your position right before the end of day and then reopen it again at the very start of the next day. So you'd close it at 4:59 or around 4:59 p.m. New York time, and then reopen it around 6 o'clock p.m. New York time. But what I'm going to show you is it's a very simple strategy, and I'm giving away my edge for this because I'm not really concerned about losing this edge. I really believe that this edge will continue to work. And here's the back test for it. And as you can see, I mean, I could go further back, but there was a recession there too, so it'll probably have drawdown to 08, 09. And obviously the recession in 2022, there was a bit of drawdown there, but you can see it wasn't really that bad. The strategy, the parameters for this strategy that has a 1.53 profit factor, the wins are about 0.65 times the losers, but there's about a 70% win rate. Literally, the parameters for this are: after a red day, you add one contract. So you could hold overnight, or if you're not holding overnight, then this is how you would do it. If the day closes red at 6 p.m. open the next day, you buy one contract. You hold that contract continually over days and days until there's a green day. At the end of every red day, at the beginning of the next day after that, at 6 p.m. New York time, you buy one contract. So for every red day at the end, you buy one contract. Okay? For every green day that comes, you sell one contract. Now, in order to enhance this strategy, I would recommend never actually completely closing out a position, meaning that you should always have one contract long at least, so that way you can catch the entire movement of the NASDAQ, considering that there are more green days than red days. So if you buy after every red day and sell after every green day, technically you won't get to hold through all of the green. So this is just buying after a red day, selling after a green day. If you hold into positions, or if you have the leverage for it, what I would recommend is after the first day, red day, buy one contract. After a green day, sell one contract. If there's two red days in a row, I would buy two contracts. So every consecutive red day that isn't the first red day, I would add buy two contracts after that red day. So in a way, it kind of is like a progressive betting strategy, but you won't keep progressively betting more than that. But you will hold the contracts through drawdown. And yes, there will be some drawdown, but the thing is, because the NASDAQ tends to go up in the long run, you're basically, every time it's red, you're adding positions. So in a way, that's like dollar cost averaging, right? And you might think like, oh, well, that's not day trading, that's blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to tell you this. If you're trying to day trade, there's some ways, but it's unlikely that you're going to get a profit factor that's better than this, okay? Because a profit factor that's this good could feed you for the rest of your life. I'm not kidding you. If with enough time and enough building up of account size, this profit factor is all you need. So buy after a red day, sell after a green day. The more red days come, you keep adding whatever amount you're going to add. If your first red day, maybe you even want to buy two on the first red day and just keep buying two every red day. But then on green days, only sell one. That's if you have a lot of money to accumulate a long position, because with that, basically, you would always be getting more contracts, buying more than you're selling. And the intention of that would be that the reason you're buying more than you're selling is that you're buying a bunch, you're selling some to have profit, but the rest of the contracts that you never end up selling, or that you would sell after consecutive more green days, would be so that you could perma hold them or hold them for longer. Because if there's less red days than green days, you want to be adding more contracts on the red days than you're selling on the green days, technically. So the profit factor would be actually higher than I just showed you. And the reason for that is, like, let's say that there's 2 red days in a row. And let's say after 2 red days, you have 4 contracts on. And then let's say that there's 4 green days in a row after that. Well, after the 4th green day, you would have 0 contracts left because each green day you would have sold one of those contracts. So that's why you want to be adding more, because if there's more green days coming, you don't want to run out of contracts to sell that are in profit. So one thing that I would recommend in a case like that is, if there's 2 red days and you have 4 contracts on at the beginning of the 3rd day after those 2 red days, you'd have 4 contracts on. And let's say there's 4 green days in a row. What I would do is I would sell one on the 1st green day, sell another on the 2nd green day, sell another on the 3rd green day. Now you only have 1 contract left. What I would do personally is not sell it even if there's a green day on the 4th day, because this NASDAQ tends to go up. You don't know, maybe there could be a 5th, 6th, 7th green day in a row, and if you sell on the 4th, you will have no contracts that you bought after a red day to hold through those gains. So that's why I would always recommend, if you have if you only have 1 contract left and if the day ends green, I would not sell it. I mean, you would, if you're doing day trading, you would sell it, but then reopen it again at the beginning of the next day. So that way, in case the next day is green, you could keep holding through those gains, right? Eventually, then yes, you'll get a red day. Or let's say that the 5th day was red. Well, then you're going to wish you'd sold on the 4th day, but trust me, no, in the long run, it'll work out better. Because if the 5th day is red, you're still holding that 1 contract. After the 5th day, the 6th day, beginning of the 6th day, you'd buy 2 more contracts. Thus, you have 3 contracts on. And you would just keep going like that. And what I'm telling you right now is, well, I'm not afraid to give away this edge. This isn't the edge I was trading before. I actually just kind of built this one. A lot of volume goes into the market at the close and comes in at the open. So I'm not concerned with having liquidity issues with anyone else who's trying to build an account doing this strategy as well, because that's where all the volume's coming in. Right when it's closing and right when it's opening, there's volume coming in. So I don't really care. I'm not going to have liquidity problems with you guys, right? So that's why I'm sharing this. So now you can't say that I didn't share a profitable strategy. Now people can't complain that I didn't share my edge. It's literally right here. At the end of a green day, at the end of a red day, you buy and you choose how many contracts you want to buy. I would buy more than you end up selling on a green day. But yes, after a green day, then you sell one of your contracts or part of your position. And each consecutive green day, you sell a part of your position. After every red day, you increase your position. And people say, like, oh, what if there's a massive crash? Well, yeah, then you'll have to incur that drawdown. But like, look, there was a decent sized recession in 2022, and if you'd been running this strategy for a while, the drawdown wouldn't be that bad. The odds that you start doing this strategy right at the beginning of a recession are extremely low. And if that happens, it happens. But if you keep going in the long run, you know it'll work. But that's also why risk management's important. Like, make sure you have enough leverage to implement this strategy. And you could implement this strategy using like Apex Trader Funding with like one of their static accounts, right? Do it when there's a 90% off sale. That's the only time I would ever buy it. I've only ever bought Apex accounts when they're on the 90% off sale. So wait for a 90% off sale on Apex, buy one, and then implement this strategy. I'm not going to show you how to code it. Like I don't have time right now. I have to go, but I just told you the parameters for the strategy. This is it. Okay. So I can't complain. I didn't give away an edge. This isn't the one that I usually trade, but I am going to be trading this going forward, along with the other strategies that I'm coding. But yeah, here you go. So I basically gave you guys a freebie, so you can't complain anymore. There's like a troll who keeps complaining that I don't give away an edge. Well, here's an edge. Okay. So that's it.